Anyone following the news in Israel sees that Israel is finally attacking Hezbollah to destroy it and end the Iranian Shiite threat to Israel from Lebanon. Lebanon, a whole country that is really no longer truly sovereign, since in essence it has been taken over by Hezbollah and Iran for years. How can Lebanon be sovereign if it allows a foreign terrorist army, Hezbollah, to use its country to attack Israel? Lebanon isn't sovereign. Not only has Israel been attacking Hezbollah rockets and rocket launchers throughout Lebanon, it has been attacking civilian homes that Hezbollah used to house rockets and rocket launchers and shoot from those homes. Does that sound familiar in any way to Hamas using civilians and civilian homes in Gaza? Same modus operandi. Israel literally has been warning Lebanese people to leave their homes if they live near Hezbollah activists. Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of Lebanese citizens are now fleeing their homes. Just look at these traffic jams. To recap the newest developments with the Lebanon war front, Israel destroyed the military leadership of the Hezbollah military forces in various attacks last week, including the beeper, or as I call Operation Circumcision, the walkie-talkie operations, and the targeted attack on the Hezbollah military leaders who were planning a military infiltration into northern Israel. Think of today's situation like this. Most, if not all, of the remaining Hezbollah leaders left to fight right now are those who are not important enough to have beepers or walkie-talkies or take part in the war planning meeting. Most of the remaining ones are low-ranking Hezbollah officers to lead the fight against us. This is truly a huge, miraculous win for Israel in continuing this offensive against Hezbollah and the Iran. Most of their leaders are gone, and we are systematically destroying their long and short-range rocket capability to hit Israel. Understand, Iran invested billions of dollars in the whole Hezbollah military front in Lebanon with a huge focus on the long-range missile threat and a military offensive to infiltrate Israel. Over decades they invested in this. And Israel is finally destroying this Iranian front against Israel on our northern border. Now, let's go even deeper. Besides the impact this Israeli destruction of Hezbollah will have on Israel, it will also be a major strategic shift for the whole Middle East and the whole world. Iran and Hezbollah are Shiite Muslims, while most of the Arab Muslim Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, is Sunni Muslim. Because Iran turned into the neighborhood bully, the Sunni Muslim countries and society were afraid of Shiite Iran and their terror proxies across the Middle East that were taking over Sunni Muslim countries like Syria, Iraq, and Lebanon. With Israel destroying Hezbollah, the Sunni Muslim world is ecstatic and literally celebrating right now. Israel is destroying their Shiite enemy. Understand, Shiite Muslims and Sunni Muslims hate each other and have been killing each other for centuries. Unfortunately, their mutual hatred for Jews and the Jewish state of Israel had them partnering against us. But now that the Sunnis see that we, the Jewish state of Israel, are destroying the Shiite Iranian Hezbollah, many Sunnis will take to the streets and start attacking Shiite Muslims, and they will no longer have the fear of the Shiite Muslims in Iran as they had yesterday. Israel's defensive counterattack destroying Hezbollah in Lebanon is also destroying Iran's status as neighborhood and global bully, and this will have major regional and global implications. With all the disappointment that it has taken Israel 11 months to finally go on the offense to destroy Hezbollah's capabilities, because they've been shooting and destroying northern Israel for 11 months, with 80,000 Israelis evacuated from their homes, and put an end to the destructive threat to Israel's north, finally, so that 80,000 evacuated Israelis can finally safely return to their homes. One must give Netanyahu credit for finessing the immoral international community's pressure on Israel, led by the immoral Biden administration, that has been preventing Israel from taking this military offensive, necessary military offensive against Hezbollah in Lebanon. It has taken a long time, too long, but thank God it is finally happening. This military offensive in Lebanon is still the beginning, and it won't be easy. But when Israel finishes destroying the Iranian threat in Lebanon with Hezbollah, we will truly have a new Middle East. Still has to be improved upon, but it's the progress for new. The time for our total victory over our enemies in the Middle East has begun. Now, to go even deeper, this visual of the Lebanese running away from their homes has even greater significance, because we are witnessing a modern Nakba, that's the word they use, catastrophe. Iran, Qatar, Egypt, and the whole fake Palestinian national identity, which was invented to destroy Israel and kill Jews, they are all bringing about a modern Nakba catastrophe upon the Arab Muslims in Gaza, Lebanon, and Syria. All they had to do was live in peace with the most peaceful people on earth, the Jewish people in Israel, who always have our hands outstretched in peace. Instead, our Arab Muslim enemies have used terror and rockets against us, based on a narrative of libelous lies, which is really all about destroying Israel and the Jewish state. Now, the Arab Muslims in Gaza and Lebanon are all paying the price for attacking innocent Jews in the Jewish state of Israel. They're losing their homes and communities and having to run away. In a sense, the Arab world is doing a repeat of the 1948 Nakba catastrophe. Just as in 1948, once again, our Arab Muslim enemies launched a war against us, this time beginning on October 7th, 2023, to try to destroy Israel by committing genocide against the Jews. Then they cry to the world when their homes and communities are destroyed because we counterattack to defend our lives, and they have to run away when we strike back and lose their homes and communities. The Arab Muslims brought the catastrophe upon themselves back in 1948, and they are bringing this catastrophe upon themselves again today. In 1948, the Arabs could have had their own state in most of what is today Israel, Judea, and Samaria. But they gave it up by choosing to go to war against us and try to kill us and throw us into the sea instead. Same thing today. They are about to lose Gaza and southern Lebanon because they attacked and we're defending ourselves. We might not be totally taking those areas over right now, but the process to take them over has begun. And if you question, how can that be? Just take into consideration what Israeli Minister Amichai Shikli recently said regarding Lebanon. Shikli said that Lebanon cannot be defined as a state, and the IDF should establish a buffer zone inside Lebanese territory. Right? He said straight out, given the Lebanese government's failure to exercise its sovereignty over Hezbollah-controlled southern Lebanon, the IDF and Israel has the right to take over areas in southern Lebanon from which missiles could be fired into Israel, which they've been firing against us for years. So the process of taking over southern Lebanon, and I served as an IDF soldier in the security zone in southern Lebanon back in the 1990s, that's going to return. We are going to be returned and never going to leave Gaza, and we're turning to southern Lebanon, never to leave. That is why he proposed a plan to establish a buffer zone free of the enemy population in southern Lebanon. Shikli described the forcible removal of the population in southern Lebanon as the most just and moral thing to do from a security, political, and moral standpoint. So everyone, hold on to your faith. Help us at the Pulse of Israel share the politically incorrect truth about Israel, the Jewish people, and the freedom-loving world. Things are turning around. Yes, they launched a war against us. We are defending ourselves. We are never going to leave Gaza. That is the right, moral, and just thing to do. We are never going to leave southern Lebanon. That is the correct, moral, and just thing to do then. Stand up for truth. Don't let anyone bully you or shame you into saying otherwise than standing up for the politically incorrect truth. Signing off from our ancestral homeland in the land of Israel and from our eternal, beautiful, biblical, and indivisible capital since King David's time, Jerusalem. This is Avi Abela for the Pulse of Israel. If you are not yet subscribed, go to pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe. And if you are able to assist us, we are a donor-based organization. We need your help. Every once in a while, click on the donate button on pulseofisrael.com. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.